Scouting for goals, scouting for goals. We want the finish, we want the goal. Scouting for goals, scouting for goals. Say it with us now, let it unfold. Scouting for goals. Scouting for goals.
Hello and welcome to the Scouting for Goals podcast, episode, what is it, 8?
8,
Yeah, episode 8. And he's back. Dean is back this week, so how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Glad to be back.
Good. What are you thinking of the new setup?
Yeah, it's going to make a bit of a change. We'll see how we get on with this today, yeah. First time, so.
I mean, you enjoyed it on Wednesday, didn't you? The new mics and that, Ryan?
Certainly did. Yeah, I had the TikTok live as well. That was a treat.
Yeah, we did. That was very interesting, actually, wasn't it?
He's having a good old video set up.
But no, we've got a lot to talk about this episode, to be fair. Quite a lot's happened this week. But we are joined by a very special guest again, aren't we? It's been a while since we've had one on.
Good show.
This one's come all the way from America. So please, let's give him a warm welcome, Ryan. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What? Well, you see, thing is here about this Scouting for Goals podcast. I've been asked to be on a few times now. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
To be fair, that was impressive. That was quite good. But yeah, we'll come to Stone Cold a few times during this episode.
Steve Weisel.
You should have bought 2 of them and just smashed them together.
Yep.
Yeah, Ryan's nan wouldn't have been pleased, though, would she? If you did that. Going all over the floor.
Pardon? I missed that bit. Sorry.
Doesn't matter. Let's move on. But yeah, we'll come to Stone Cold throughout the episode and we'll see what type of things he's got to say. Now, the other thing, obviously, is I know this was in the last episode, but you wanted to have a quick say on it, didn't you? What did you think of everything going on at Wolves a couple of weeks ago with sacking Rob Edwards and appointing your new manager?
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange time, really. I think it gave a bit of a bad look for the club, I think, personally. Like, me looking without the Wolves lenses on as well, just as an outsider. I think it doesn't make the club look very great. I mean, we gave Rob Edwards the job. Obviously, when we were in the Premier League last season, we didn't have the greatest squad. It was a weak squad, if we're being perfectly honest. And, you know, he's come in, tried to do what he can, uplift the squad a little bit. You know, we got a few wins here and there. I think he did the best he really could have in the circumstances that he had. But to not give him the championship season, I think, at least to get a couple of signings in, you know, the promise was made to these players that came in and they've said that Rob Edwards was integral and crucial to them making the decision to join Wolves. I think it's a bit shocking, but you can see, I guess, from Wolves' perspective, you know, what they've done is they've done a favour for Mendes, got in a client of Mendes's, which would give him a bit of a payday, and then hoping that in return, you know, that would give us a few signings through Mendes, hopefully get a few good transfers from, you know, the Portuguese league, or, you know, he Mendes is a good agent. He can help get us, you know, some.
Have you signed anybody else since Jimenez and Trippier?
No, at the moment it's only been Jimenez and Trippier. Obviously, we've got the Adama transfer rims as well now, with him being a free agent.
Do you think that will happen?
I think it will definitely have to be a possibility that we explore, because again, if it's a player that we can get in on a free, you'd kind of be silly not to. I guess somebody that's got that Premier League experience. I'm a bit on the fence with the whole Adama situation personally. I can find him quite frustrating to watch. No doubt, though, the excitement and the possibility with Adama and Jimenez linking up again is something that, you know, would be quite interesting, but I'm a bit on the fence with that one.
Yeah, we were a bit confused by it as well, weren't we, Ryan? It was definitely a very strange thing to do with Wolves after signing them 2 players.
And especially, I forgot to touch on the fact of also, we've brought in a manager that has a worse managerial record than the manager who we currently had appointed, who was managing in the top flight in England, who, you know, it's a much harder league. We've signed a manager that has a worse win-loss record in, let's be quite honest, a much easier league.
Yeah.
So there's always that as well. It's a bit of an uncertain time, but we'll see how we get on.
You will. I mean, there's been quite a few transfers this week. We've got a few of them written down here. So the first one, probably the most high profile one, Marc Cucurella going from Chelsea to Real Madrid, reported £51.8 million. Do you think that's a decent signing for Madrid?
Yeah, I think they look to strengthen the back line, haven't they? Obviously, the boy Canate as well, and Dumfries, and they've just extended Rudiger's. So it was a solid left back for Chelsea. So yeah, I think that's a decent signing. But that's just today's price, isn't it?
It is. Since then, we've had John Solis. He's gone from Girona to Birmingham for about £6 million. You saw a bit of him last year, didn't you? I thought he was a good player for us, so I'm glad.
Big signing for Blue.
He is. I'm glad he's come back.
Yeah, he's a good player.
One that I'd went under the radar, Costinha from Olympiacos to Brighton for 11 mil. Never heard of him. Got nothing to say on him. But
I think the one thing you can probably say with a Brighton signing as well, because we've seen it time and time again, it's a case of Brighton being able to look in the market and identify players that are able to fill the roles that they need. And we see it time and time again. So hopefully this is another one of those situations for Brighton where they go and pick up a relatively unknown, unheard of player, and then we end up seeing a gem come next season.
yeah, well, he's already 26, so it'll be interesting how that one pans out. Jean-Paul Van Heck has obviously gone to Spurs from Brighton, which is interesting because we touched on this before the World Cup started, and you said about Vuskovic being your hidden, what was it, hidden gem?
Yeah, I think somebody that you'd expect to see something of in the coming tournament, yeah.
But it would be interesting whether he now goes to Brighton, because there's been links between them, hasn't there? Bernardo Silva gone to Real Madrid on a free. I think that would be a good signing for both parties, to be fair.
Definitely is a squad option. Very, very solid business from Madrid.
And then the final one that's happened fairly recently, in fact, it happened just after the England game. Ryan was very happy. Victor Munoz has gone from Osasuna to Liverpool for $34.5 million. Now, you were happy with that signing, but I can imagine if you're a Newcastle fan, you're going to be very annoyed again, aren't you?
Newcastle.
Yeah, 100%. I think they found out a couple of days later as well. We've got them the first game of the season as well, so I think they're just sick and tired of Liverpool. Because, from what we were hearing, it was all pretty much confirmed that he was going to Newcastle, and then literally out of nowhere, like you say, after the England game, it was confirmed that he was having his medical and probably signing the following day. So, yeah, they must be fuming, but I'm quite happy with that myself.
Good. Couple of rumours then. So, Yan Diomande, rumoured to be going to Liverpool as well. That'd be a superb signing for yourselves. And the other one, apparently, you said has been debunked about Barcelona wanting Van der Ven. Is that not happening now?
Well, from what I've seen, from what Fabrizio put out a couple of days ago, because I think Liverpool were interested in him as well, that he won't be either going to Barcelona or Liverpool. So I don't know how true that is, but De Zerbi paints him as an integral part of the Spurs squad.
And the other one that's quite interesting, it's the final bit of transfer news we've got this episode, is that Man United have no plans to reloan Rashford to Barcelona, which it still baffles me that, you know, he had a really good season at Barcelona last year, and then they've gone and signed Anthony Gordon for, what was it, 80 mil? And they're not interested in Rashford. They said they wanted to get him back in on loan, but by the sound of it, that's not going to happen. It's just a bit of a weird saga with him. It's a shame for Rashford because he was finally finding his feet again.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that just briefly. I think it's crazy to me that, you know, obviously you've got the upside with Gordon in the fact that he is younger. But Rashford, in the season he's just had for Barcelona, he's been fantastic. And I think for around, 30 million, 35 million was it? They could have signed Rashford for that fee, which is a bargain in today's market, let's be honest. Even with him being late 20s, for his output and how he's performed for Barcelona, you know, when you've got a confident Rashford, you've got a solid player there. And I think with Gordon paying double the amount, I don't think Gordon is a good player, no doubt, but I don't think I've seen enough from Gordon yet to warrant almost justifying the transfer to pay double the amount to get Gordon in when you could have had Rashford for half of that. Obviously, you're going to get more years out of Gordon, but I think with what Rashford had already added to that team, yeah, it's a bit of a puzzling one for me.
Be interesting how it pans out, won't it?
Yeah, I think with obviously Lewandowski leaving as well, I thought they might play Rashford up top. I know Gordon did that a little bit for Newcastle last year, but yeah, I'm a bit surprised. Yeah.
Should we move on to the World Cup?
Yes.
Which is the whole point of this part of the podcast, isn't it? So, these are currently all of the results up to about Wednesday, weren't it? So just before the England game. And I've only picked the ones that are significant, like we don't want to be talking about Haiti and Scotland and, like nothing against either team, but they're not the most interesting of games, were they? So on Sunday, after the podcast last week, we had Netherlands 2, Japan 2. And both of them teams look quite good, don't they, going into this World Cup? So that was a difficult game for both. But I've been very impressed with Japan over the course of this tournament. And I mean, we were watching a bit of the Netherlands game, weren't we? And we were, they've got a decent team as well. I mean, I know they've got the likes of Van Dijk and Van Heck, Van der Ven. I mean, Gakpo, he just comes alive, doesn't he, for Netherlands? It's weird. He just can't do it for Liverpool, but he manages to do it for Netherlands.
A different animal when playing for country than what we've seen for Liverpool in the past season, that's for sure.
And obviously in that game, Van Dijk scored for Netherlands. Is it Crescencio Somerville?
Yeah,
his name?
Crescencio.
He's linked to Man United as well. So West Ham need to offload. By the sound of like the sort of finance trouble that they're in, they need to offload, don't they? Nakamura scoring for Japan, and Daichi Kamada, the old Palace midfielder, he's a free agent now. So there'll be a lot of clubs watching his performances to see if he's going to be a good signing for them. Monday was quite a big shock in terms of the World Cup. So Sweden won 5-1 against Tunisia. You'd expect Sweden to win, but straight after that game, Tunisia sacked their manager, which is pretty unheard of. And in fact, Sabri Lamouchi, who was the Tunisia manager in that game, broke an unwanted record, becoming the first manager ever to be sacked at a World Cup after just one match. So it's not a record he wants, is it really, on his CV? But it seemed like a bit of an over-exaggeration from Tunisia.
Yeah, you think with Tunisia especially, they're not a country that people are going to go into the tournament thinking that they're going to be this powerhouse and that they're going to be winning games left and right. So I think you expect almost for Sweden to be able to comfortably beat Tunisia. So I think it is a bit unfair on them personally. And I think especially the logic of sacking a manager whilst in the midst of a big tournament, it's like, well, what really is going to be your backup plan if you pick somebody else in as well after that?
It's got to be confusing for the players as well, because now you've got to learn an entire way of playing in like less than a week.
Yeah.
It was a bit bizarre.
You just set yourself up to fail, I think.
I mean, it made no difference, did it? Because they played, was it yesterday? What was the score yesterday? 4-0?
4-0. Did they play Japan, did they?
I think so.
Yeah, Japan won 4-0.
Yeah, so it clearly didn't work. So if you're watching this from Tunisia, then sort your team out, because that's shambolic.
It is. It's shambolic.
Although I don't think we've got anyone watching from anywhere in Africa yet. We haven't branched that part of the world.
But if they are, then we're letting you know it's shambolic.
Yeah, I'd send this to your FA. Tell them that Scarecrow goals aren't happy. Biggest shock so far of the World Cup, arguably, was Spain 0, Cape Verde 0. Now it was a superb performance from Vizinha, wasn't it? The Cape Verde keeper, 40 years old as well, pulled out some cracking saves. Yeah. Now there'll be a lot of Spanish fans that will say, well, we didn't start Nico Williams, we didn't start Lamine Yamal, but you look at the two teams on paper, Spain should still be more than capable of beating them. And I know, obviously, Vizinha had a good game, but that's a disappointing result for Spain, don't you think? Especially, arguably, being the favourites to win the World Cup this year. If anything, it's put the pressure on them more to win today, because if they don't win today, they're in trouble going into that final group game. And you then talk about pressure and how well they can deal with the pressure, unless you're Chloe Kelly, of course.
Yeah. What pressure?
Yeah. So there we go. But yeah, have you seen any highlights, or did you watch that game at all?
Yeah, watch the highlights. Yeah. I mean, the keeper the keeper made some terrific saves. You're exactly right, mate. Because the first game, it sets the tempo, doesn't it? And you'd like to think that Spain have got enough quality to go through to the knockout games, but it's a poor showing if you can't beat Cape Verde in your first game.
I mean, they're the third. It's their first ever World Cup for starters, and they are it says here, the third smallest country in population to ever qualify. The only teams really that was smaller was Curacao in this tournament. Obviously, Iceland's being the other, but they're not in it. So that's poor. I mean, to get a point in your World Cup debut against Spain's good going for them, isn't it? They were very happy with it. I think that keeper Vizinha was crying, to be fair, but he weren't the only one. There was a guy called Pico Lopez at the back for Cape Verde, and he was sensational as well. I mean, he denied a years about towards the end, and they had the chance right at the end to win it as well from that header. It was a good save from who was the Spain keeper.
Simon.
That's it. Cracking save from him, but Cape Verde had snatched a 1-0 win. My God.
I would have personally loved that after seeing the European final.
Yeah, we're a bit bitter still about that, aren't we? We are.
Osborne not being one of my favourite players.
But here's a fact though, right? So since Spain have won the World Cup in 2010, Spain have only beaten, this is in World Cup finals, right? They've only beaten Iran, Australia and Costa Rica. So they've only won one match in 3 of their past 15, drawing 5 and losing 7. So they're not great at starting these tournaments, are they, Spain? But can you see them going through the groups? I think it's Saudi Arabia they've got tonight, isn't it? Do you think they'll beat Saudi Arabia?
100%.
Yeah. I think they'll be going out in this game with something to prove as well. I think maybe making a few tweaks to the starting lineup and deciding
Yamal to
players like Yamal and Nico Williams need to be there to make an impact from the first minute.
Be interesting. I mean, anything but a win, and they're going to be nervous going into the final group game, aren't they? Tuesday, then we had France Senegal, and at one point it was looking like it was going to repeat itself again, wasn't it? Because last time they played in a World Cup, I think it was 2002, off the top of my head. Senegal actually won that game 1-0. And first half, France looked awful. It was 0-0. And I thought France could lose this. And, both favourites to win the World Cup could have dropped points easily. France end up coming out on top, don't they, in a 3-1 win. And then Mbappe getting another 2, which has now made him France's all-time top goal scorer on 58. That's a good feat for him, isn't it? Especially with his age.
For his age, is absolutely astounding. To surpass somebody like Thierry Henry, Giroud, who's been a pivotal player for France for
you love Giroud
as well. Yeah, big Giroud, Mr. Underrated himself.
So that puts Mbappe on 58, Giroud on 57, and Thierry Henry on 51. So he's beating some big players, isn't he, to get to that? And he's still got God knows how many years left in him for France. So that's easily. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits 100, to be honest.
I think in terms of World Cup goals as well, I think with the age that Mbappe is, he's got at least another 1-2 World Cups in him. So I'd expect him to be the one that's going to be sitting atop that all-time goal scoring list for a while, I think, for a good while to go.
It's going to take a right player to knock him off top spot, isn't it?
With the rate at which he's scoring for France, I think, it's going to take some time to top that.
On top of that, though, it's also put him joint third in terms of World Cup goals. So it says here that he's joint third with Gerd Müller, obviously the German striker, and behind R9, the Brazilian Ronaldo, who obviously got 15, and top Miroslav Klose on 16. Now somebody has obviously, Messi's obviously just equalled that record of 16. You'd expect that to be broken this tournament. But I remember when Klose set that record, it looked astounding that, he'd managed to get 16 World Cup goals in his career. And that looks like Mbappe's going to smash that one as well. I mean, he needs, 2 more to equal Klose and Messi. He's going to do that this tournament, you'd think, wouldn't you?
This is the thing with Messi as well. This is probably his last World Cup, if we're being honest.
Unfortunately.
So, we're saying farewell to the GOAT at the top tournament, but I think with Mbappe still having those extra tournaments to go and he's already so close, I think it's a no-brainer what's going to happen in terms of the top scoring for the World Cup.
Do you think he'll break that record then, Murray? All-time goal scorer in the World Cup?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, like you say, he's still extremely young, and he's still got at least another 3 minimum World Cups in him, hasn't he? As long as his career carries on the way it has been, I think he'll surpass it this tournament.
But it's going to be a battle between
But he'll
him and
definitely
Messi.
set a record for the next upcoming tournaments, because I mean that France squad is just an absolute joke, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. Wednesday, then we had Canada 6, Qatar 0. Now we're not going to go into this very much, but Canada don't look bad, do they?
No, I was not expecting Canada. I mean, Qatar.
They're champions of Asia.
Yeah.
You know, you'd expect them to be decent. Canada, like, come out of nowhere, won 6 on that Jonathan David.
Yeah, hat trick as well. Yeah.
They did have 2 red cards that game as well in the 33rd and 55th minute, was it? I think. And I mean that. I don't know if you watched the Switzerland-Qatar game, but both of them were pretty poor teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they scored at the very end, Qatar to equalise, but that was a poor show. And if you know, Canada, is it Jonathan David up
Yeah,
top?
he's the one who scored the hat trick.
Like you say,
Alfonso Davis as well.
if you got two men down in the first after 55 minutes, you're going to be struggling.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised at the scoreline in the end.
No. But there was also one of my favourite matches of the tournament. Argentina 3, Algeria 0. What a performance from Messi, wasn't it? It was, well, again, like you've sort of touched on, it showed why, in my opinion, is the GOAT.
Absolutely.
And his goals were phenomenal. He had one chalked out for being offside as well, so he could have even had 4. But what did you make of his overall performance?
Well, this is where, people can talk about this whole debate and whatnot. But for me, I think it's quite clear when you've got Messi in this Argentina side being so integral into the way that they play, how they build up through Messi, him being a key part of their structure going forward. I just think the gap is just getting wider the more that I'm seeing Messi single-handedly carrying Argentina, getting all 3 goals, putting in an absolute masterclass at the age of 38 in the World Cup. I think is nothing short of amazing, to be quite honest.
No, and we've got some stats here from that game. So that's Messi's first ever World Cup hat-trick, which surprised me because I thought he must have had one at least before then. So he's got his first World Cup hat-trick. He's also the second player to score at 5 World Cups. Only other player to do that, one of the greatest of all times, Ronaldo. 24 career goal contributions at World Cups. So far in World Cup careers for him, in World Cup games for him, 16 goals and 8 assists, 24 goal contributions. He's beat Pele's at 21. So, he's already got the most goal contributions ever in a World Cup. He's also obviously equalled, as we touched on earlier, Klose's all-time goal-scoring record at World Cups. So that warrants the question, Ryan. Is he the GOAT?
Yeah, I used to prefer Ronaldo, but I think you can't really deny that Messi is the greatest player of all time. I mean, the fact that he's won the World Cup now, he's got that over Ronaldo. Like you say, at the age of 38, and he's still producing numbers like that, and he's probably going to surpass the all-time goal scoring record this tournament.
So will Mbappe.
Yeah, he will, but I'm saying for Messi, he's just to be still performing at that level at the age that he is. Him and Ronaldo, I think, like you say, like Dean's just touched on there, Messi seems to carry the Argentine team more so than Ronaldo now carries that Portugal side.
We're going to touch on this point literally in a minute with the Portugal game, because we sort of spoke about that in the car, didn't we, coming up?
Yeah, Argentina facing tougher opposition as well, arguably.
You think he's the GOAT, don't you, Mick?
Oh, absolutely. I think with the recent performances as well, given the games between Argentina and Portugal and what's happened in recent years, Messi finally getting that World Cup, and the amount of Ballon d'Ors he's also won over Ronaldo, if we want to keep making extra points to back it up. The calendar goals in a year, I think it's just a no-brainer at this point for me personally.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with that, in all honesty.
But I think it's when you draw the comparisons coming onto that Portugal game as well. You've got Messi being integral to Argentina, helping them win, being, the main spark in them going forward. And then you've got Ronaldo for Portugal, arguably being in the way of Portugal's success without being too harsh. I think
he hinders it, doesn't he? Definitely.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite have that same presence that Messi does.
no, you've got experienced professionals as well, people at the top of the game like Thierry Henry coming out and saying about Ronaldo and how he's having a negative impact on the Portugal side, because once you've got Ronaldo in the side, all eyes are going to be on Ronaldo. There's more focus on Ronaldo. I think he's more in it for his own individual accomplishments and trying to be the one that's got to score instead of looking at the bigger picture in that moment. Because I remember seeing an instance where the ball was played into the box and Bruno Fernandes was actually in a better position than Ronaldo to score, but Ronaldo ended up putting himself into the path of where the ball was headed to take the shot, when there would have been more chance of it being a goal had Bruno Fernandes just been the one to take the shot in that moment instead. And Thierry Henry was touching upon that as well and saying how he's obviously in it to try and get his own accomplishments to be the one to score when, you know, it should be for the benefit of the team. Is it going to help the team win? What have you got to do to help them win? Which I think Messi with Argentina is doing exactly that. Ronaldo, I don't think you can say the same.
Well, João Neves came out with an interesting comment, didn't he? Saying that he understands what Ronaldo's done for Portugal and what he's done for football in general. But that in terms of this World Cup, he's just another player. So they don't seem to value him quite as much as Argentina are valuing Messi. And I think that's showing in some of the performances, because Ronaldo's struggling in this World Cup. He hasn't, was it 10 games now? He hasn't scored?
Yeah, I think 10 goals in European competitions.
Yeah.
10 games, I mean.
Yeah, so, you know, the longer that goes on, the more he's going to be thinking, I need to do something here. If he still wants to be, you know, the face of Portugal.
Especially somebody like Ronaldo as well, with the ego that you've got to have to be at that level and to want his own accolades. I think it's something that's definitely going to be weighing on his mind.
Exactly. So, do you think this is going to be his last World Cup? Because he's obviously 41 now. The next World Cup he's going to be 45. Can you see him playing another? He seems to think he'll play till he's around 50, but
I think he'll want to play until he can actually win that thing, won't he? If he could, but like you say, he might be waiting a while. I think, like I said on the last episode to you, I think this is probably his best chance of winning a World Cup. But like you said, I think he can be a team player, but there are times where he's selfish. At maybe times where he can't afford to be. I think that's just the ruthless nature of the player that he is. But the team have evolved from Ronaldo now rather than Ronaldo evolving with them. I don't know if Ronaldo is now suited to that Portuguese team as much as Messi is suited to that Argentinian team. I said that they've got one of the better chances of winning the World Cup now. I'm now not too sure that they will win this tournament.
man,
It's almost like there's a media circus that always follows as well with Ronaldo, you know, with him having the amount of fame and influence that he does have. Because, for example, like when after the game, you've got, you know, Ronaldo fans and people commenting on like Bruno Fernandes's like Instagram posts and things like that, all with hate messages to like him and João Neves saying, oh, you need to pass the ball to Ronaldo more and that's why they're not winning. And it's like, well, in what we saw when we watched the game for Portugal the other day, when I don't think he's competing at that level at the moment to be able to be the one to, you know, bring Portugal to success.
can you see him going to the Euros at 43?
I think if Ronaldo feels like he's capable of being able to, then it's almost like that is what's going to happen. I don't think it's even thought about if that's going to help the team or if that's best for the team. It's like, well, actually, you've got to get Ronaldo in there. It's like there's this pressure that Ronaldo has to play. He's got to be the one to do it.
But I was sort of thinking this when you were talking about it earlier. Even if his performances were awful, then he should be getting subbed off. I don't think he ever will, would he? He's one of them that will play 90 minutes.
I think it's been documented as well that whenever Ronaldo has been dropped for Portugal or things have happened, the manager has shortly been sacked not long afterwards. I'm sure it's happened like 4 or 5 times in the past.
Yeah.
Something I remember reading about it before. Whether that's correct or not, I'm not too sure, but I did hear about that as well. And I mean, you've also got the fact of, is Roberto Martinez going to be the one that can bring the World Cup to Portugal. I mean, he's already had an incredibly talented Belgium squad. You know, Eden Hazard, Lukaku, Vertonghen, Alderweireld. He's had a fantastic squad at his disposal, but they never made it far in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Or the Euros, never accomplished anything. Yes, there are sides. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne made the point before when they'd asked him about Belgium's golden generation, saying, well, other teams have had golden generations though, haven't they? Like, so obviously it's not just Belgium that have had top players, but I think you would have expected that Belgium team to have done more. I personally thought so.
Well, he's already confirmed, hasn't he, that'll be his last tournament for Portugal, because he's already exiting after this tournament. They confirmed it a couple of days ago, so yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, should we move on to what was probably our best game this tournament? Obviously, the England game, where we won 4-2. Good performance, weren't it? Before that, it was the Tuesday, weren't it? It's the day before. Tino Livramento got injured. I don't know what he's done. And I remember sitting at work and they hadn't quite confirmed it. They said it was going to be confirmed shortly. So I was there sat thinking, Lewis Hall maybe, same sort of position. Could he get Maguire back in? Maybe even Trent. Then it comes out that Trevor Chalobah's been put in. I just thought it was a bit of, it's not, you know, Trevor Chalobah's predominantly a centre-back. Livramento's a full-back. So that didn't really, I was a bit confused with that. What did you make? I mean, whether Chalobah will play a minute or not is irrelevant. Do you think he was the right player to call up? Because it's a bit of a strange one, I think.
Well, they did raise this on Shearer and Lineker's, I think.
No,
Netflix,
the rest is football.
Yeah, the Netflix series that they're doing, because they had Maguire on and they were saying about, but they were saying to Maguire, like, you couldn't get called up, but Trevor Chalobah's somehow made it into the squad, so... And then I think I remember they had to cut away from Maguire, because obviously I think Maguire was finding the whole situation quite funny at this point. But yeah, Trevor Chalobah, I wouldn't really expect him to get any minutes within this squad. But
very strange one.
I don't think Livramento really would have had an impact either. So it's kind of neither here nor there, really.
Just thought it was a strange one. I mean, he has been plagued with injuries, hasn't he, Livramento, in his career. We've got some of his stuff here. So he's had out for 45 days with his hammy, 45 days for his knee. He did his ACL in 21-22. So he hasn't had much luck, and as a result of that, has obviously lacked minutes. Like you said, I don't think he'd have been integral to our World Cup campaign anyway. But just thought it was just trying to understand the way Tuchel's thinking. It's a bit strange, but ultimately it didn't matter, because we one of the best performances I've seen us play in the World Cup for. Well, I'd go as far since I've been alive. I thought we were exceptional second half. First half was a bit questionable defensively, wasn't it? But we got John Stones, who hasn't played many minutes at all this season for City.
I think 5 games, isn't it?
Yeah,
last season.
Alongside Concert. Now, obviously, them two haven't really been played at the back much in the friendlies. So you could put it down to that. But I thought second half, we came into our own a bit. We looked, more well-oiled second half. Tuchel's team talk was meant to be really good. And players like Jude, who were a bit more isolated in the first half, seemed to be a bit more themselves. But what did you both make of it? Of the performance?
Dean, I'll let you touch on that first.
Okay.
Because I did.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of positives to take from the game. I think watching it as an England fan, watching them over the years, I think there's so many good things that there is to talk about. I mean, the attacking intent, you could say first half, I agree, a little bit shaky defensively. You could say maybe Gay should have been playing, been fantastic for City since signing. Brilliant for Crystal Palace. He's had that game time for England as well leading up to it. Him and Konza, I think personally for me, would have been the pairing, with Stones only playing 5 games or whatever it was in the recent season. You could say, well, he's not going to have the same amount of match fitness and preparation as somebody like Gay he would. No doubt done it in the past, they've been fantastic. But I think just the way that England went at Croatia, even when Croatia managed to get 2 goals back and made it level, in the past I think we would have seen England almost give up and sort of,
We'd have definitely sat
almost,
back,
yeah, it's, I think, but just the way that we continue to press and continue to go after the game, I think I remember saying it was so positive to me seeing in the 90th minute we're 2 goals up, we've got a comfortable win, but we're still going at the game, we still want more, we're still pressing them and going at the players. I just think there's so many
we lacked,
positives.
wasn't it, under Southgate?
Being able to see that and not seeing negative pass back, slow football, build up, you know, and just chasing the game, just continuing to go after it and seeing the attacking play as a result was just fantastic to watch. And I also want to point out, Livakovic, the Croatia goalkeeper, had a fantastic game and we still scored 4. You could have argued against, you know, a weaker side or, you know, a keeper that didn't have a performance quite like Livakovic did. We could have scored 5, 6 plus goals. So I think to see that against the side that previously we got knocked out by in 2018 as well, fantastic. There's so many positives to take from that.
Touching on Livakovic, to be fair, you look at the Curacao game. What was his name? I've got it written down here. Oh man, where is it? Eloy Ruby, right, last night. 15 saves in a World Cup, 90 minutes. That's a new record. Obviously, he got man of the match for Curacao, 0-0. The Spain against Cape Verde, you know, the Cape Verde keeper got man of the match, 0-0. So for Croatia's Livakovic to get man of the match in a 4-2 defeat says a lot, doesn't it, really? Modric, you can tell, unfortunately, he's not nowhere near the level he was once at. But he wasn't awful, I didn't think, for being 40.
No, but I think you've got such high standards for a player like Modric.
What did you make of the lineups? Because for me, the only, not concern, I would say, but the only question I had about Tuchel's lineup was Gay not starting. I'd say it was the only question mark I had. So apart from that, is there anything you'd have changed about it, or were you happy with who started?
I think there was talks of Saka as well, wasn't there? Because now we found out that apparently he's had an injury. But that's the only really the other position I would have said. And there's obviously talks of Bellingham or Rodgers, wasn't there? I think that was more. I think Tuchel already had Bellingham benchmark for that game anyway. But yeah, I think the rest of the team we were all quite happy with, weren't we? So
would you have started Rashford?
Yes. I think if you look on the way that, I don't think Gordon really had much of an impact in that first game. I like Gordon, but I would have personally had Gordon and Rashford. That's what I said to you last week. Gordon really have much of an influence on that game, and obviously Rashford came on and he scored that terrific goal.
It was a nice goal. He took it well.
I think to be slightly fair to Gordon as well, I remember in that first half we played it a lot down the right side, so we didn't see too much from Gordon. I think a lot of it was played through Madueke, which could get a little bit frustrating at times.
He's not a bad player, is he, Madueke? But I think part of his problem against Croatia was he seemed a bit indecisive at times.
Yeah, decision making was quite poor.
Times where he should have shot, he didn't, or he was thinking about it for too long. Times where he should have passed, he was umming and ahhing then. I mean, he's very good at beating his map. But like you said, he's a bit like an Adama Traore.
It's what happens when you get into the final third. It's making the right decision.
But he's a good player to bring off the bench. When you know, even if he comes off the bench, teams are getting tired and he's going to run at you. Perfect type of player to bring on, isn't he? But I don't know. I suppose going into the Ghana game, I'd like to see Saka and Rashford start up front with Kane, just to see how well they would do and how good Gordon and Madueke would do off the bench. It'd be interesting to see. But were we happy with our performance anyway, overall?
I think, like Dean said, how positive we were. I mean, I was saying to you, even when Croatia equalised in both situations, I never felt as if we were going to lose that game. It never came across.
Yeah, I was worrying, and you kept saying, "We've got this."
Yeah, it never came across to me that they look. I mean, the first 5-10 minutes they were pressing us, and I was thinking, "Oh, hang on, what's going on here?" But then after that, as soon as we scored our first goal from the penalty, we never looked as if we were going to lose that game. And like you said, that second half, as soon as we scored, pretty much straight from the first couple of minutes after the kick-off, we were just so positive. And like you said, it could have been more than 4. So if we can carry on playing like that into the next 2 games, I've got no qualms with us at all.
No. All right, then, let's go on to one of the most difficult questions that I think Tuchel's got this tournament. They've both made an appearance now, Bellingham or Rodgers. I think it's a tough one because they are both very good players. And I think Jude's first half was a bit of a ghost, wasn't he? He was being man-marked. He had about 3 players around him all the time. Then, obviously, second half, he just turned the game on its head. Then he was phenomenal. And obviously, Rodgers then comes on. I think he came on as a winger to start with, didn't he, Rodgers? But I thought Rodgers looked good as well. So, do you see Rodgers coming on as more of a winger, or is it more like for like with them two?
I think it'd probably be like for like. I think Rodgers operates better in the centre, but he has played on the left for Villa a lot this season. I love them both, to be honest. If you could fit them both into the team, that would be terrific. The problem is that midfield is so well balanced with Elliot Anderson in there as well, with Rice and Bellingham. I think it complements it. We've seen in that game, I know you touched just on there he wasn't very influential in the first half, but you did see him come into the box in the first half, and he made that clearance, and you said that in the game, and you said maybe Rodgers might not do that, whereas Bellingham would give you that all-roundedness.
He did that 2 or 3 times.
He did. So if it wasn't working out for him well attacking wise, defensively he was coming out and impacting. I think Rodgers would do that, but maybe not to the same extent.
Another player though that will give a massive kudos to is Kane. I mean, what a player for starters. I mean, his header was class. His first penalty was a bit questionable, but he's apparently come out and said that the reason why he did that funny run up was because he'd watched Livakovic and he knows he comes off his line, so he had a feeling he was going to do that anyway. I mean, the second penalty was fine, wasn't it? But then even towards the end of that game, he threw his body in front of one of the Croatia shots, didn't he? And that just shows the type of player he is. We're 4-2 up. He doesn't need to do that. We'd effectively won by that point, but he's putting his body on the line even then at 4-2. I just think he was pinging balls left, right and centre from midfield. He just seemed to be absolutely everywhere, didn't he, Kane? He's impeccable to our chances, I think, this tournament.
I was about to say that about Kane, the blocks at the end as well. I think having an impact on every area of the pitch as a striker is phenomenal. Obviously you see with Kane, he's one of the few strikers where you could actually make a passing compilation of, because his ability to be able to ping the ball in the middle of the park, 40, 50 yards out is fantastic. So to be able to see Kane even getting back, making vital blocks for us towards the dying minutes of the game to stop us conceding, his impact on the game is enormous.
I mean, he's got the 3rd most England caps of all time, only behind Peter Shilton and Rooney, level with Sir David Beckham. So that's a great achievement for him, isn't it? He's now got, what does it say, 115 caps for England, and he's also broken Lineker's. No, he hasn't broken it yet, as he's joint equalled it, most goals at a World Cup. In fact, I think that's on my sheet, isn't it? He's got 10 goals in 12 World Cup games, which is amazing, really. 10 World Cup goals in 12 Kane. So it looks like he's going to beat Lineker's record, which I bet he's not best pleased about. But what a player, Harry Kane.
I mean, he's in the best form of his life. I mean, I don't think you could say any striker in the world currently is better than Harry Kane. I would go as far as say that. I mean, if you look at his calendar year at Bayern as well, I mean, how many goals did he score at Bayern? Is it 60?
He scored 66 goals.
60 goals.
He equalled, was it Ronaldo's best calendar?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd take anyone in front of Harry Kane at the moment in the world.
No.
This is, I mean, is it his last ever World Cup, you reckon, maybe, for England, maybe?
I hope
it's another
not,
one.
But I think it will.
I'd like to think so.
Possibly.
Maybe he can operate playing a bit deeper if we got to another World Cup, but then at that same time, we do have quality players there as well. So
it's all right. We could always call up David Nugent.
Yeah.
You can do a job at the next one.
Chip Nugget.
Did he ever play? He did play for England.
He did the one probably under Steve McLaren, wasn't it?
Ricky Lambert did so.
Ricky Lambert scored, wasn't he? David, didn't he?
First 2 appearances, I think he scored, yeah.
But I hope it's not his last one. Be a shame if he was, because he's been such a good player for us. I can see him making the Euros, and I think he might call it after that.
I think if he does come, it'd be like a similar role to Henderson, like
Yeah,
to be in
yeah.
the locker room, to be that figure that people can speak to and rely on, that will have good advice and be able to mentor.
The thing that worries me is we haven't
players.
really got any up and coming strikers.
No,
That's the thing that
that's the
concerns
one,
me. Is we've got lots of Stansfield, who's the first name that comes to my head. Watkins and Tony are obviously nearly 30. I think Tony is 30. Who else really is there?
There's no one that's going to be able to step into the boots that Kane's going to leave behind, if we're being honest.
No, we need like a Yamal to come through, like a
Then-
young. I mean, there's Engamoa, but he's not a striker, is he? But you know, you need that type of player to
Liam Delap.
come in. Yeah, Liam Delap's got. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Obviously, hasn't had a very good season.
No.
Chelsea, has he?
I think
So-
he'll get into the England team once Watkins or Tony.
Yeah, because of lack of options, I think. We'll see. I mean, Kane came onto the scene at 22, 23, though, so I mean, anything can happen in football. You never know.
And Jamie Vardy later on, didn't
Yeah.
he? So, you know, it does happen, but
It could, but
We'll
no
see.
one's going to quite live
I mean,
up to...
another stat here for an England player, Jude Bellingham, right, he's become the youngest European player in history to make an appearance at 4 different European competitions, being 22 years and 353 days. That's a great achievement for him.
I think it's mad when you say the ages of some of these players, mate, because you think of it feels like they've been running the game for ages, doesn't it? And he's got such a wise head on young shoulders, hasn't he, Jude?
Yeah.
He's already won everything pretty much there is to win already at the age of 22.
He'll be adding the World Cup soon.
Yeah, well, hopefully, mate. Yeah, fingers crossed. I just think it's just the complete package, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I think he's just brilliant.
I hope his brother comes up soon. I know his brother hasn't quite had the same success as Jude has, but I'd love to see both Job and Jude in England set up at some point.
Yeah.
Both in midfield as well.
What I did love about the England lineup as well is Elliot Anderson almost acting on his own as the 6, because then that allows players like Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham to have more responsibility going forward, instead of, obviously having Rice and Bellingham then having more defensive responsibilities. We know with the hard working midfield and players that we've got anyway, they're going to be having that defensive responsibility. But I think you definitely want players like Jude being able to be the ones pushing up the pitch, being able to unlock the defence and play those balls in. So I did really love the way that we lined up as well.
And to be fair, we touched it in the week, didn't we? After the game, we said how well that midfield functioned. I mean,
You were loving that.
I loved. To be honest, I've said how many years we've been crying out. We've said Jude and Rice have been the mainstays, and then we've always been looking for that third option in terms of you've played Calvin Phillips in there, you've played Mainu in there, Henderson, you've even had Trent for a little stint in there. You've said there's always been that third place that's been up for debates, and said you look at it and you think Anderson, he just ticks all those boxes, and
It's a perfect fit, and they played
100%.
really well
They
together.
did, and they all complement each other. And you look at it and you think there's not many midfields in the World Cup that you say are better than that England 3, in my opinion. No. Very, very few.
I think that's what's been clever about Tuchel's team selection, is everyone seems to play well together. I know the centre backs looks a bit ropey, but as a collaborative unit, I think they all work in a very similar way. There's no real weak link as such as there has been with other teams.
All complementing each other's game. Elliot Anderson coming in, I think, as the 6 as well.
Yeah.
Instantly locking that position as his own. Fantastic performance.
We'll start wrapping up the England stuff, but before we do, what's your prediction for Tuesday against Ghana?
4-0. I'm going to go.
Ryan?
If they play anything like they did against Croatia, I think it could be 5 or 6.
Which one?
We'll go 6. Let's go for it.
All right, then I'll go 5 then.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm
So
going to save the 6 for Panama. I think after the 6-1 in 2018, looking optimistic on that one.
this is where England go and lose then next year.
Struggle against this, yeah.
So we've got some good World Cup stats here before we move on to the last bit of this podcast. And the reason why I'm not, looking at the camera as much is I've got to hide my script because of a game we're going to do later. So it's took only 27 games this tournament for refs to give out more red cards than they did during the entire 2018 Russia World Cup. So far they've given out in the 2018 tournament, they dished out 4 reds the whole tournament, 2 of which were straight reds. 2022 in Qatar, 4 reds, 1 straight red. So far this tournament, it's had 5 red cards, and they've all been reds. And I don't think that's included the 2 that Qatar had. So it could very well go up to 7.
Is that included the one that? Did you see the one with Miguel Amaron when?
That's what I mean. It's not even including that either. No, I haven't updated it because I did this obviously in the week. But so it's on about 7 or 8 now, isn't it? Red cards. That's colossal though for red cards in a tournament. As long as we don't get any. We didn't even get a single yellow actually in our game. So
I think let's either chalk it down to fighting passion, you wanting to go for it, snap him, get in there, or just want to get out early because it's too hot.
yeah, it could be
one of the two.
Yeah,
one of the two.
Or maybe they're collecting some Panini World Cup stickers.
I know somebody that would be well acclimated to the heat though.
Bit of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Heart of Texas. I'll be alright.
In fact, I forgot we had Stone Cold here.
Soccer.
What do you think of America so far, Stone Cold?
Well, come on, Seattle. Big up USA soccer team. I think we at least get to the semi-finals. We had world-class talents like Landon Donovan. Myself. I think we're going to be semi-finals at least, I reckon.
To be fair, Americans have come out and said they reckon by 2030 that they're going to win the World Cup. To give themselves 4 years to do it. Was it 2030?
Mental.
Well, I think it was around that year, yeah.
Did you see the, speaking of Landon Donovan actually, did you see the clip that came out of Landon Donovan the other week?
No.
Absolutely outrageous.
What did he say?
I swear the lenses that USA people have on is insane.
We do have Americans that watch this, so watch what you say.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that they're going to be biased. I'm not saying that, but honestly, they were doing... The player that they were talking about was Clint Dempsey. And when they do those videos and they list all these different players and it's like, speak when you hear a player that's better than Clint Dempsey. Yeah. And you could have stopped it after 2 or 3 because as soon as they mentioned Joe Cole, there you go. Pure footballing ability, better than Clint Dempsey. But this guy did not speak and they'd mentioned players like Eden Hazard, etc. and still stayed silent. The only person he spoke for was Heung-min Son. That was it. That's where he drew the line. But he couldn't speak when they mentioned Eden Hazard.
Nah.
Which I think is crazy. But there we go.
They can be a weird bunch sometimes.
Absolutely crazy.
We love you, but you can be weird. Saying that, we've probably got some outrageous.
Oh yeah, we have Arsenal fans, so
yeah. But apparently, we're the Arsenal fans of international football, is what we've been told.
I can see that.
Yeah. The record number of red cards at a World Cup is 28. At the moment, we're on course to smash that. Whether it will happen or not, and a bit of a mini stat for you. During the Czechia-South Africa game, it was the first time ever in a World Cup tournament that both coaches were over 70. So, bit of longevity coming in there for the coaches. It wasn't the most exciting game I've ever seen, I'll be honest. It finished 1-1. But no, I couldn't find any more stats apart from them, to be fair. Stone Cold, you got any?
I'm going to drink 7 beers tonight, that's a fact.
Well, there we go. As long as you save some for us, it'll be sound.
No.
Should we touch on Eloy Room very, very quickly? The Curacao keeper from yesterday. What a game he had. 15 saves in 90 minutes. Tim Howard has the all-time amount of saves in a World Cup game, but that went into extra time. So in 90 minutes, Eloy Room smashed it, I think, by 4 saves, because I think it was 11 before. But he had a superb game, didn't he, for Curacao?
Single-handedly, lifting his country up, keeping them in the game.
They're the smallest nation ever by population in the World Cup, so for them to get a World Cup points, fantastic for them, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who was that against again?
Ecuador. Yeah, Enna Valencia was up top for them.
Moises Caicedo as well.
Yeah,
but neither of them seemed to be. Caicedo especially, he didn't do as much as I was expecting him to. I know he hasn't got the players that he has around him at Chelsea, but you'd have expected him to do a bit more.
And they needed to win that game, didn't they? Obviously, they lost the first game, didn't they, Ecuador?
Well, they're not out, but they've got to win their next game to have any chance of getting that third place qualification. So, should we move on to this game of Imposter?
Yeah.
Because obviously we were going to play this last week, but we couldn't play it with just the two of us. So, if you've probably seen the videos on TikTok. If you've never seen it, one of my mates of mine who watches the podcast, he's messaged all three of us, 3 players. So we're going to have 3 rounds of it. One of us is an imposter. I will put it above one of our heads, whoever it is. In editing, and we've got to suss out who the imposter is. So, for instance, we said this earlier. Let's think of a player that it's not going to be. Right, Landon Donovan. Right, if we said Landon Donovan and Ryan came out and said Turkish, straight away we're going to know that he's the imposter because he's be the weirdest looking Turkish man I've ever seen. So it'll make sense the more you play it, but you've probably seen these going around on TikTok and whatever else these are on. So do we all know the first player?
Yes.
Yeah. Who wants to start? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go Ryan first because you're furthest that side. Then Dean.
So what do I need to do? I need
just
to
say one thing about that player, and we'll sort of we'll keep going, and we'll eventually suss out who the imposter is.
Okay. He's extremely muscly.
Winner.
Belgian.
Left-footed.
I wouldn't have known that.
Stature.
One season wonder.
Premier League.
Talisman.
God, I don't know who this is. Celia. By the way, if you think you know who it is, you can just say. Go on, Mum.
Ooh, just trying to think of one.
Anything, position. You can. How many trophies is one if you know that?
It's just like anything that sort of
Inter Milan.
Right, okay.
correlates to them. Champions League.
Everton. I think I know who the
West
imposter
Brom.
is. Yeah, I think I know who the imposter is.
United.
Well, I don't know. Maybe none of us are the imposter this round, I don't know. Right, we'll do one more, and then we'll all say what player we had. He played with Hazard. I know that's more than one word, but yeah, played with Hazard.
Play with Hazard.
Twice, actually, for two different teams.
Napoli.
Anderlecht.
Okay.
I think we all know who this is.
Yeah, well, all right, who did you get sent?
Lukaku.
Yeah, well, I got Lukaku as
I
well.
was the imposter, but it was obvious who it was. So.
Oh, was it?
That's the idea is you've got to try and say things that correlate to them, but not make it really obvious. Because it seemed like Belgian, muscular, and then it was like Inter Milan, Serie A. It was like, okay, it's Lukaku.
Right.
That was a tester.
Because I was just saying like generic things at first.
Yeah.
But then it became obvious who it was.
Yeah.
Like,
All right then. Right, we'll do the next one then. We'll do the same order, but let's try and not be as obvious.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll try and be less obvious. That's fine. Yeah, no worries.
Go on then.
Luscious locks.
Well, I already know.
Go on in.
It's Haaland.
No.
Well, now giving away I'm imposter.
Yeah.
So that was crap, weren't it?
Yeah.
That was naff. Oh well. Who was it?
Off there.
Luscious Locks.
David Royer.
I thought we were going to play again, but that's fine.
I balls up, didn't I? Because
You're
I got.
himself as the imposter.
Oh,
You said you had Luscious Locks in a previous episode.
This is going really well, isn't it?
Who
Yeah.
was it?
David Royer.
Very right.
He hasn't got.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll try to do generic. I thought
He hasn't got long hair though, has
He's
he?
got lovely locks, doesn't he? Long, dark.
That's
Right.
right. You want to get that angle?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I thought we were doing it there. It was completely.
Yeah, it has to. I don't know. Like, you want to make it like vague, but then
Yeah.
not
could've-
too obvious.
Spanish. I don't know.
Yeah, you could have just said like,
Spanish.
but then
Oh, well, yeah. So
You got to think of like clever little things that the other person
Yeah.
might not pick up, because I've played like regular imposter before, and it's like thinking of like the obscure little
We'll have to
things
think of some
that
other games as well.
that don't make it too obvious.
To be fair, this is our first time doing it, isn't it?
Yeah,
So we'll
I
only-
think from like YouTube shorts, because I've been watching a lot of like content and
Yeah.
like football stuff on YouTube at the moment. There's like a lot of stuff that you can do there, like debates, like combined 11s and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I've been seeing a lot of people do. Some people are so biased though; it's ridiculous.
honestly, I see those three lads on TikTok, and some of the stuff that they come up with,
It's awful.
it's pretty awful.
You can even do almost like a family fortunes thing as well. You have to guess like the top 5 players of a certain thing, or I don't know. We'll find some other things. Should we do the last one?
Yeah.
Last game
Yeah,
of
the last one.
Imposter.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to start again? Or should
Thing
we-
is, though, we're gonna know, aren't we? Because if
not necessarily. I don't know how Lewis has done this.
Yeah.
It could be that someone's.
because if each one of us is an imposter,
Well,
then
we'll see. Otherwise, I will have some words with
'cause it
with
makes
Lewis.
it a bit-
Right, you start.
Tool Championship.
England.
midfielder.
Right.
Brave.
Is he? Drink driving.
Everton.
Good with kids.
What? What?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, massively from everything I've
I haven't, to be fair.
seen a bit.
I'm not even going to comment.
That's not a joke. I'm not being thingy. Like,
Okay. Sort of fell down the pecking order.
I think I already know who it is.
Well, you've now inclined that you.
I had a feeling it was going to be.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing you were
Jack
imposter.
Grealish.
Yeah, were you
Yeah.
imposter?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously imposter.
All right, Lewis, if you're watching, spice it up, or maybe Lewis should give us like 6 in like, and then we just
Because when you play like the imposter app, it's like randomised. You don't know
yeah.
going to be which
I'll tell you what, Ron, get your phone out now.
through process of elimination.
How does it work on the app?
Is there an app for it?
Or is it, is it on
Yeah, it's
Google?
like an app that I played it on before.
Oh,
Because we did it while we were at the pub.
Is it?
It's just something to do. It was quite fun.
What's it called?
I like it.
imposter.
Just imposter, I think.
I don't know how it's going to
Well,
work.
it's completely random. But
Is
obviously
it
it's not
against
gonna be.
the AI?
Is it that one there?
It'll just give you like a topic, like a name of something.
Okay,
You've got
well-
to say stuff related to that.
While you're setting that up, I'll waffle for a little bit. In fact, there is something I've got to do. I was meant to do it last episode. I know he's done all of this for us today, but shout out to Lewis because he commented trophy in the last, not the last episode, the last episode on the Sunday. So this week I've decided that after all the hassle we've had with them, words mean microphone. So if you get this far and you comment microphone or even DM us microphone, because I do check the DMs, we'll give you a shout out next Sunday, unless we do one in the week, possibly after the England game. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But that's pretty much the end of the episode. How successful are you getting on with this, Ryan?
Not very.
Thing is, on that, you can't do like custom ones. I
No, you
think
can't
it's like
custom.
just the game. It's like
Yeah,
it
it's
gives you
right.
it, so
Okay,
it
no
wouldn't.
good.
It wouldn't
Well,
work.
what we'll do is then we'll sort out this game for next week. But if I think of what I'll do is I'm going to think of a player now, and we'll end the episode of this. You two have got to guess who it is. If you get it from one guess, 5 points. 2 guesses, 4. Blah de blah. So I'll do it one for each of you. So we'll do Ryan first, and obviously they're going to be players you'll know. I'm not going to say like some Kazakhstani defender from the Iranian league. You're going to know who it is. Okay. So your first clue is going to be. Oh, let's have a think. Okay. Spurs. If you think you know who it is, you get 5 points. Or do you want another clue?
One more.
Okay. So your next clue then is defensive minded. So that's worth 4 points.
Can anyone say it was just?
Nah, just for Ryan. I'm going to do yours after.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine.
Not sure?
Got one more.
Okay. I don't want to say about his foot because I'm not very good with that. Commanding.
Romero.
Nope. So worth 2 points. Fast.
Van der Ven.
Van der Ven. Right. So you got 2. So Dean's got to try and beat that. So he's got to get it before before the 4th round then. Okay. Okay. Premier League.
Okay, I'm going to need a bit more.
We'll go top 6.
Yeah, again, a bit more than that.
Striker.
There's still so many options. Like,
Mhm. I feel like I've been harsher on yours. Actually.
yeah, there's so many options to pick from. Like, a bit narrower than that.
Defensive minded.
I could pick from like hundreds of players.
Oh, all right. So we'll do. So you know, Prem, whatever.
Yeah, a bit looser.
We'll go finished in the top 2 for your 4th round.
What, this season?
This season, finish in the top 2. Do you know roughly what 2 teams it is? This is your round.
Haaland.
No. Round 3, worth 3 points then. Attacker.
Oh, so they're not a striker then?
Yeah.
Did you say
I
striker?
said attacker.
Oh, well, yeah, if they're a striker, they're going to be an attacker though, aren't they?
They are striker.
So that's the same clue as what you've already given me.
Have I said they're a striker?
I'm sure, yeah, because I was thinking about a striker.
Did I?
Yeah,
All right,
I was going to say that gives me nothing
right,
extra.
Big unit.
Gyökeres.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So,
that would be easy.
yeah,
Top 2.
Yeah, it's Arsenal.
these games need work, don't they?
Yeah.
But we'll get there. Is your mic still on? Or is it off?
It was off now. Sorry, it's back on.
Yeah. Sound. Well, I reckon we wrap it up there then, and I'll have a think with Lewis and with you two how we're going to do this imposter.
There's definitely a lot of things you can come
Yeah,
up with.
well, we can even do that family fortune thing, and I can just edit it.
Like, I think there's a lot of things that are just good to have debates about as well. Like, there's ones which is like, oh, does this player start for, these teams, and you go through like a player in the world now or like in the past. And
Well, we happy with how it's gone anyway? I don't know how long.
yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Probably nearly about 2 hours, I think.
Nah, it's not that long.
About an hour and a half at least.
I don't think so. I think it's been about.
Thanks for watching the equivalent of Avatar. Podcast.
Yeah, part 2 is coming next week.
Football.
So it's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And what about Stone Cold?
See you later.
Do you want some beer, Stone Cold? Yeah, so until next Sunday. In fact, we might do one in the week. So until then, thanks for watching.
Goals, scouting for goals. James Ryan Dean let the whole town know. Scouting for goals, scouting for